Hello, how's it going, guys? Welcome back. And this was suggested to me by Video Game Stage Remaker. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right. I'll put the name up here somewhere. And this was suggested to me after he or she, whoever that person is, had watched my video on the melting point of wax from Thrice. You know, the song about Icarus and his flight into the sky until his wings melted and he fell down to earth and died. That being said, he told me I should check, he or she, whoever the person is, um, I don't want to presume who someone is, told me to check out Thrice's Daedalus, which I guess is a companion song to the Song of Icarus. So I thought, why not? And since there's no music video for it, I'm just gonna watch this. It's a lyric video though, so this should be interesting. Anyway, enough of my rambling. That's not why we're here. Let's get into Thrice Daedalus. Already, tonally, this song is a complete shift from the melting point of wax, because the melting point of wax starts off very high speed, very heavy, very almost kind of like reckless in a sense, you know. It carries with it a sort of youthful exuberance because the song is very much from the point of view and the thoughts and feelings of Icarus. So it has this kind of eager, youthful exuberance to it and this kind of high energy. This one sounds much more mournful, sorrowful, much more contemplative in a sullen kind of way. I already kind of like it. It's interesting. It's very different from the first song. You know, it's very interesting. What's pretty cool about how this song starts out is like, you know, it's again like just like the melting point of wax, it's very much about putting you in the shoes of Daedalus, which I think honestly is like a really an aspect of the story of Icarus that we don't really think about too often because I mean the story is called the story of Icarus, and Icarus I think is the spotlight because he is the one who dies in the story, and it's a tale about hubris and going above or beyond your means. But it's like it's very, but we never really think about things from Daedalus's perspective and point of view, and how he feels. And I like how it's kind of it's really putting you there, and it's not just putting you there with the lyrics, which is which is easy, but the again the melody, the tone of the song is softer, much more solemn, much more methodical and purposeful, kind of much more mature and adult in the way that it feels and in the way it's portrayed, whereas the melting point of wax was very aggressive and in your face. Wax and some string, some feathers I stole from the birds. We leap from the cliff and we hear the wind sing a song that's too perfect for words. But son, please keep a steady And what I think is very interesting about this also is that is that like it is how it portrays up to this point anyway, how his views of flying. I think and maybe it'll explore it more as the song moves on. But Daedalus's views of flying, because Icarus when he was flying, he was like, he was very again, it was very reckless, very overwhelmed with feeling and emotion and raw energy and wanting to push the limits. For him, it's like, there's a sense of peace, a sense of calm, and this sense of like, serenity that he can't even explain. Like he's enjoying it, just like Icarus, but it comes from a different place because even though he's enjoying this victory, his main concern is still his son. He has not entirely lost himself to the feeling, much like Icarus does.
Now safely away, let out a cry. We'll make the mainland by noon. The Icarus climbs higher still in the sky. Maybe I've spoken too soon.
And another thing I do notice is that like a lot of the focus of the lyrics in this song are his thoughts about his son. It's a split between him focusing on their goal, but also being very focused on what his son is doing. Whereas in the melting point of wax, Icarus is not that concerned with Daedalus. Like the only real concern or consideration Daedalus gets is being the voice of reason screaming out to him, but he's this like in the background. It's like a footnote, and it's telling him not to go too high. But it's almost like at a certain point he's disregarding it because he's beyond reason. He's beyond logic. He is swept up in feeling and passion, and it's a very self-involved song. Whereas this is a song that's very longing, but at the same time very concerned. He's very concerned for his son's safety, and you get that from here, like the heartache and the pain, and where he's like wants to make it, but he feels like he can't. He's tricky, but he's still very concerned and wants to pay attention to what Icarus is doing, and he's sort of seeing how poorly this is about to go.
Oh, son, please keep a steady wing. Know you're the only one who means anything to me. Steer clear of the sun, or you'll find yourself in the sea. Won't you look at your wings? They're coming undone, spreading at the seams. Steer clear of the sun. For once, won't you listen to me?
And I think this really highlights. Oh, kick my camera. I think this really highlights the issue with their whole relationship. That Icarus is so headstrong that he refuses to listen. He doesn't want to listen. He doesn't want to hear anything outside of his own thoughts, which is much highlighted in the melting point of wax. How self-involved Icarus is, and that self-involvement, that headstrong nature, is what ultimately leads to his demise, because he won't listen to the much older and much wiser Daedalus, whose main concern really is the safety of his son, and he can see that his son's wings are melting, and he's desperately trying to get the boy to pay attention. but Icarus doesn't want to. And I think it's the most important thing. It's not that Icarus can't. It's that Icarus doesn't want to because it's like a lot of kids with their parents, when their parents trying to warn them of things, they're like, they kind of dismiss it like, what do you know? I think I know everything because I'm 15 years old. Side note, I don't remember if Icarus was actually 15, but you get my point. Kids don't want to listen to their parents. Despite the advice their parents are giving them, and a lot of times it's actually good advice. But it's like, even like in the one thing point of wax, is like, how will I know if I don't try? And a lot of kids have the attitude like, I won't know that it's bad unless I do it, and then when they find out and get themselves in trouble, luckily most of them aren't flying with wax and feathers above the ocean and don't have melting wings. And what's interesting, not just like in the music before the this verse, before this, part of the lyric starts, you can really hear the pain in the instrumental before it picks up. Like the instrumental sets you up for the lament, the lamenting of anguish that you're about to hear. And I think what's sort of like a painful double edge to this is like he's asking the gods, why is this happening to me? Like, why would you let this happen to me? I'm so broken that I can never be able to soar again, which not just literally, but I also think metaphorically and emotionally, as a metaphor, I should say, he emotionally and psychologically will never be able to be okay. He'll never be able to rise above again. He's hanging up his wings both literally and figuratively. But also the sadness of it is that he can cry out to the gods, he can try to blame the gods, but the gods didn't really do anything. It wasn't the gods who made his son fly too high. It wasn't the gods who caused him to crash back down. It was all Icarus. But I think there's a part of him that doesn't want to blame his son because then he has to admit that my son is kind of a headstrong idiot. And you see, that's the thing, like, here he goes, like, he says, oh, you took the only thing that meant anything to me because he wanted his son to grow up free, And it's like, imagine that, like, seeing all your hopes and dreams, the person you cared about the most, going away in this moment. That should be your ultimate triumph. That should be your ultimate, strive for free. You're striving for freedom. This is your ultimate run to be free, and it's working, but it's also the very thing that took your son away from you. And he doesn't, and there's a part of this that kind of, there's a hint of denial in this, because he doesn't want to blame himself, he doesn't want to blame his son. The only one he can blame are the gods, because he's like, it must be the gods who did this to me, but in reality, the gods didn't do this to him. Icarus did this, and he is also the one who facilitated that, and that's what he has to live with. Okay, well that was Daedalus by Thrice, and I gotta say that song is like an emotional roller coaster. You know what I mean? The lyrics are very straightforward, but it's not just about very like straightforward, and there's not like a lot of subtext. It's very much telling you what Daedalus feels and thinks, but it's very much the delivery of it, just not in the lyrics, but also in the music, like the melody, the instrumental. It just it has this such like this emotional like cling to it. This you feel the pain in the music, which really emphasizes and helps to build upon the lyrics, and it just kind of creates this. It pulls at your heart. It pulls at your emotions. You really feel the anguish of this man as the song moves forward until he's like lost everything, and by losing his son he's lost a part of himself, and you know that he's never going to be okay. I gotta say, phew. Anyway, let me know what you think. Do you agree, do you disagree, do you yeah, do you think I was on point, do you think I was way off? Let me know. Again, thank you for the suggestion, I appreciate it. If you like this, give us a thumbs up. You know, I'd appreciate it. It helps in the algorithm. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe if it's your first time here. And to get more stuff like this, I have other videos. Get to see more reactions, more commentary. It's a good time here. We enjoy ourselves in the comment section. And until next time, guys, I'll talk to you later, alright? Peace.
Born for tonight.